morning and welcome to the Capital Area Food Bank recipe video library. Today we are going to be making veggie and cheese egg bake. So this is a delicious breakfast recipe for an easy morning. If you make it ahead of time, you can pop it in the fridge and then day of reheat it. So let's get started. I'm going to show you what is in this recipe today. So first we have 2 tablespoons of butter. We have 1 onion. We have 1 green pepper. We have 1 can of no salt added corn. You can also use frozen corn instead. I have my 1 cup of low fat milk. My 1 cup of cheese. You can use any type of cheese. Today I'm going to be using sharp cheddar. I have my 8 eggs that we will beat together. For spices, I have 1 teaspoon of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So there's 2 different ways that you can make this recipe. If you have a cast iron skillet or a skillet you can put in the oven, you can make everything in the skillet and then pop it in the oven. If you're like me and you don't have one of those, your pan is not able to go in the oven like this one, we're going to be making it a little different. So we're going to start by cooking all the ingredients we need to cook in the pan, and then we're going to move it over to a baking sheet here that I have lightly greased. And we're going to be preheating our oven to 400 degrees. If you haven't done that, now would be a great time to go preheat your oven so we can get everything cooking. So let's begin. We're going to melt our 2 tablespoons of butter on our pan while we are cutting everything up. Perfect. So I'm going to get that cooking. And while that's happening, let's go ahead and cut our onion and cut our pepper. So I'm going to start with the onion, set the pepper aside. What we're going to do today is we're going to have long slices of onion in our dish. So the best way would be to cut it in half first. I'm cutting in half there. And then peel off this extra skin. And once we have that in half, we're just going to cut off, see the bottom here? We're just going to cut off the tip. And then we're going to take our onion that's still attached on one side, and we're going to cut long slices. Perfect. And I can hear our butter melting. It's starting to sizzle. Smells good. Cutting the onion and having that butter melt. And so once we've done that, we can cut off the other end and we have our long slices. Watch your fingers, make sure you're using your claws. And we're gonna cut that end off again. And we have these beautiful slices. So our butter is heating up, and that is a perfect time to throw in onion that we have just cut. While that's cooking, we're going to cut our pepper. And so with our pepper, we want to make sure that we have smaller slices. So we're going to actually dice it. There's multiple ways to cut a pepper. This way, I'm cutting off all of the sides to keep the core together and cutting off the bottom. I'm going to slice and then I'm going to dice. Oh my goodness, if you could smell what I'm smelling, you would get so hungry. And what we're gonna do is we are going to put all that right in the pan. See how we could, oh my goodness, it smells so good. Everything is cooking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let these all cook down a little. So we're going to wait until the vegetables are cooked. And then we're going to add in the corn. Okay, well, this is still cooking. What we're going to do is we're going to start to whisk together our eggs. So as you see here, I cracked my 8 eggs into this bowl. And what we're going to do is really just whisk them together so that the yolks are broken and that they're all together. Oh, there we go. As you can see here, it is all whisked together. It is, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add the other ingredients. So we're going to add the milk, we're going to add the cheese and our spices into this mixture here. So let me add my milk in, our 1 cup of low-fat milk. I'm going to add in my 1 cup of cheese. Again, you can use any type of cheese. My 1 teaspoon of chili powder to add some spice. My 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And my 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And we're gonna mix this all together. So it's all in one mixture. Oh my goodness, if you could smell these peppers and these onions, wow, wow, wow. It smells so, so good. So these are getting ready and we know they're done when they, the onions are more translucent so you can kind of see through them more. And when the peppers start to soften. So once you can kind of poke your spatula through them without much pressure, you know they're done. So now that they are done, what we're going to do is add in our corn. If you're using frozen corn, keep the heat on until your corn is no longer frozen. Since I'm using canned corn, I can just put it right in, get all those leftover kernels, and mix it together so that it's still getting the buttery flavor. Oh my gosh, those colors are beautiful. If you're like me and you cannot have a pan that can go in the oven, this is going to be the time we're going to transfer everything over. So I've turned off the heat because my vegetables are looking delicious. If you do have a pan that can go in the oven, now would be your time to pour in your egg yolk milk cheese mixture into the pan and then stick it right in the oven. But if you're like me, we're going to take this pan, transfer all of our good vegetables into the pan, spread it out so that they're evenly distributed, and then we're going to pour in our mixture, our eggs, our cheese. Oh my goodness, this will be so good. All set to just stick it in the oven. And depending on the size of your pan or your tray, the time is going to vary. So you do want to make sure you keep an eye on it. I'm going to put it in the oven for about 30 minutes and come back and check on it to make sure it is all cooked. So let's go stick it in the oven. And I'm going to set my timer right now to about 30 minutes, and we're going to come back and see how it's doing. So I'll see you soon. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes. I checked on it in 30 and it looks like it needed a little bit more time. So we can know when it's done. When the top starts to be brown and bubbly, it starts to pillow as well. So let's go get it out right now. Yum, yum. It smells so, so good. And you can see how the top has browned slightly. I'm going to put it on this tray and we are going to let it cool. So I'm going to give it a little time to let it cool before we cut in and start to serve because this looks delicious. Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that, still steaming hot. You can see how beautiful and thick that slice is. Look at all those veggies in there. So I'm gonna put it on this plate and I am going to enjoy my breakfast. This looks so, so tasty. So if you enjoyed this recipe and you'd like to make this or create some of our other recipes we have, click on the link below. You'll be able to see this recipe along with a handful others we have and start cooking. So I hope you enjoyed today and have a good one.